Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm UncleLander and this is Gran Turismo 2 GT mode playthrough. On the last episode we have managed to complete the entire midship challenge, for which we got the GT4T DLM edition. On today's episode, what I'm planning to do is complete the entire All-Stars championship that's on the last page of special events. As my weapon of choice, I decided to basically do a couple races and get myself a Viper GDSR Team Oreca with 690 brake horsepower and 1150 kilograms. So, I also have modified this car because I was fighting with this car's first and second gear quite a bit. When this car is like just not modified, the first and second gear just like takes way too long to basically kick in. So I basically decided to modify this car, and we're gonna test this car as a modified version. We're gonna break the rules a little bit for this. Let's see how my car performs at 400 meters. I'm gonna show you guys my settings. So, tires obviously very soft. Suspension with the spring rate at the front is 4.5, the rear is 9.0. Right height is 85 and 90. Damper bound is 3 and 7. Rebound is also 3 and 7. The camber is 1-1. The toe is -20 and 0. And stabilizer is 5 and 6. When it comes to the gearbox, the setting of the first gear is all the max to the right, then the third gear at 1.057, fourth at 0.795, fifth gear on a 6 to 7, that's fifth gear, that's 6 gears at 0.507, and the final gear at 5.500, and the auto setup at 16, maximum downforce. And when it comes to LSD, initial axle decel, all got set up to 5 because there's not really that much of a need to adjust it any further. Okay, let's see how this car performs at 400 meters. And there we go, 10 seconds, 0.467 at 400 meters. The main goal of setting up my gearbox this way was to basically make sure that the first and second gear are going to be as short as possible. And so the third gear can take the entire burden of taking the corners. And as we can see, we are on the third place with 10 seconds, 0.467. Let's see how this car is going to perform on 1000 meters. I also tried to modify the TVR speed 12, but sadly, I kind of reached the same effect, but I simply decided to be like, I don't really want to drive this car. So I basically made a couple of races, bought the Viper, and this is it. Okay, 1000 meter. Let's see how this car performs on 1000 meters. And with a time of 18 seconds, 0.348, we are being placed at third place as well. Alright, let's see how this car is gonna perform at 1000 meters. Also, as a reminder, this episode, like every single other episode of my Gran Turismo playthrough, is being recorded live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/UncleLander. Links in the description. Come in, say hi. It's nice. Maybe a little bit quiet, but still nice. Alright, so the max speed test. And yes, that's true. TVR Speed 12 is a pretty insane car. Already reaching 320 kilometers an hour. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, that didn't went the way that I wanted at all. I think I'm gonna call a reset because the car just decided to just go all the way to the left for no peculiar reason. Yeah, I'm gonna call a reset on that one. The car just decided to like spin to the left right into the grass, and I did not really. That's weird. Okay. If this is gonna repeat, then I am most likely gonna have to adjust the stabilizers. This is the first time when I see something like this happening during the max speed test. I might need to adjust the stabilizers if this is gonna repeat. We got 346. Kilometers an hour so far. But the car definitely wants to behave a little bit naughty. I think the car might be a little bit too low. I'm happy with the speed of 346 kilometers an hour. Don't get me wrong. But this is, so far I can definitely notice that this is the only track in which this car behaves that way. So, we're currently in the third place as well, which is pretty satisfactory. 340 kilometers an hour is not a bad speed. But I'm starting to think that the suspension of this car is just placed a little bit too low. And I'm gonna have to probably raise the suspension a little bit and increase the stabilizers if I want to race with this car, which is exactly what is gonna happen right now. We're moving on to the All-Stars Gran Turismo Cup. Gran Turismo All-Stars, there we go. And the first race, yes, I know already done the third race, but I needed to do that if I wanted to gain enough money to buy specific cars with the specific races. So yeah, the first race is at Super Speedway. Is it bad if the car is too low? Yes, because if you have maximum downforce and the car is too low, basically the texture of the car can have a tendency of colliding with the ground, which makes the car really unstable. So I'm gonna raise by 10 millimeters and we're gonna see if that's gonna help. I think the stabilizer should be good, but we'll see. The Super Speedway is gonna show if this setting is actually good. I thought initially that my setting of my car is pretty decent, but I could be wrong. I guess I could be wrong. Only one way to find out. Alright, Super Speedway race, let's go. Every race of the Gran Turismo All-Stars has 5 laps in it. And we have GT1 on the 5th. I see Vauxhall Calibra for GT14, Lotus Elise GT1, and Audi DTLM edition as well. Probably took that corner a little bit too wide. But just like that, we managed to gain the first place, the first lap with a time of 37 seconds, 0.5. If you're looking for NASCAR track, this is like the closest that you're gonna get. period. Finishing up the second lap with 29 seconds, point 1, and making a significant lead over our competitors. I need to brake a little bit more on that last corner over there. Lap number 3 ended at 29 seconds, point 9. Lap number 4 ends at 29 seconds, point 5. And now we are entering the last lap of the race. A pretty simple end to the point race, by the way. Might need to increase the stabilizers. I will increase the stabilizers on this thing. And probably I'm going to decrease the toe on the front. And the last lap at 29.258 seconds, with Toyota GT1 being at second place, Ford GT4T at third, Audi TT at fourth, Lotus Elise at fifth, and Vauxhall Calibra at the sixth place. For each race at the All-Stars, we are gonna gain 50,000 credits and also a free car. Lotus only P5. Let me put it like this: Lotus is not a very stable car. Lotus is probably one of the most, if not the most unstable cars in the game, that requires a lot of time working on the suspension to actually make it work properly. So the fact that the AI of the game can actually preserve and like still finish, it's quite a miracle. All right, next race at the special stage, R5. And like I said, we are gonna adjust the toe. We're gonna see if adding bound rebound is gonna change something. And we're also gonna increase the power of the stabilizers. The gears and everything else is gonna stay as it is right now, including the ride height. All right, let's see. Special stage, Route 5. Right, let's go. And I can already see the Venturi Atlantic LM on the 5th, GT4T on the 4th, Lotus Elise GT on the 3rd, and I cannot see the other cars in front, sadly. I can now see 2 Vauxhall Calibras on the 2nd and the 3rd place. I think I broke a little too hard on that corner. Second lap, finished the first one with time of 1 minute 20.9. I think the idea of stabilizers was good, but the other settings are not really helping me a lot. Finished the second lap with the 1 minute 13.443, and now finishing the third lap at the time of 1 minute 13.161. Yeah, the car still swivels. Like when I try to hard brake on a high speed, the car just have a tendency to going very sharp to the left or to the right. Which should not really happen. This one, I believe it's not even the fault of the suspension being too low. I don't know if it's a brake balance problem. Fourth lap finish in 1 minute 13.083. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what is the problem of this car. The problem with this car is that it likes making problems. That's the problem of this car. And we are finishing the final lap with time of 1 minute 13.689 in the first place. At the second place is Ford GT14 At the third is Venturi Atlantic. On the fourth and the fifth is Voxel Calibra. And the last one is Lotus Elise. There used to be one setting for the Viper GTSR, for this specific Viper that I used to way back in the day, but I'm probably never gonna be able to like find it again, ever, period. If I ever will, great. If not, whatever. Alright, the third race is gonna happen in Red Rock Valley. And that's the race that a lot of people basically know for, if you have a fast car, you can basically win the entire game with it. And it's true. It is very, very true. Very, very true. Okay, let's increase that to 15. Stabilizers are gonna stay as they are. LSD, limited slip effect during deceleration. Might need to increase that to 10, but not really 100% sure. We're gonna see how the car is gonna run with this. Let's start the race. Hey, look at that! We got another Viper in the race. On the 5th place, on the 4th is Vector M12LM, then it's Nissan R390LM from 97, Lister Storm and the 2nd, and Lotus Elise GT1 on the last position. Oh, don't get me wrong, I think the livery is great on that car. What is not great on the car's performance. Alright, finishing the first lap with 1 minute 10.9. On to the second lap of the race. Finishing the second lap of the race with time 1 minute 3.542. Finishing the third lap of the race with a time of 1 minute 4 and 2:17. Gee whiz. I wonder who is actually crawling all the way back over there. I hope it's not a Lister Storm. Lister Storm is the car that got so bullied by this game. Because they basically, when it comes to this car being present in like those races, this car only has 591 brake horsepower and basically weight reduction plus you know, the livery applied to it. This car can squeeze over 700 brake horsepower. This car can be so much better. And they kind of decided to, well, punish it. It's an understatement. You get the fourth lap with time 1 minute 4.1. I think the Lister Storm is a serious underdog. That in the hands of a player, it can become an absolute death machine, despite its weight. Quite frankly, you can say the same thing about every single car in this game. If you know how to drive it, you can win it. And finishing the last lap of the race with time 1 minute 3.112. The second place is Nissan R390 GD1. On the third is Vector M12LM. On the fourth is Viper GDSR Team Oreca. On the fifth, Lotus Elise. And on the sixth, sadly, Lister Storm V12. New car acquired, as well as 50k. The All-Star Special event is like the most profitable event you can ever do. Hello, Tume. Yeah, I actually modified Speed 12 yesterday when I was still fighting with a headache. I modified it and it performs pretty well. It doesn't perform bad. It sticks to the road, which is the most important thing. Still struggling with fighting with the first and second gear, which I don't really know that much about the gearbox of this game. Basically, the only thing I have done with the Speed 12, as well as with Team Oreca, is that I moved the first and the second gear all the way to the left, so those gears can be the shortest, and so the third gear can actually take a little bit of leverage from the first two gears, and so I can use the third gear on the corners for a little bit longer. Alright, so that was the Red Rock Valley. The next race is gonna happen at the Rome City course. And I think suspension-wise, the car is doing well. I'm not gonna adjust it anymore, but I think I could make the third gear a little bit wider. And it's not gonna hurt that car whatsoever. Rome City course, let's go. And what do we got? Vauxhall Caliber on 5th, Atlantic on 4th, Viper on the 3rd, GD1 on the 2nd place, and 155 touring car at the 1st place. But that's the start. I never was really into manual gearbox in this game. I understand its purpose, I understand how helpful it is, was never into it. You could say it's a me thing. And we finished the first lap of the race, which is something that I should say earlier, at 1 minute 17.2. And I necessarily pushed the brake over here. Being a little derp that I am. Finish up the second lap at 1 minute 11.697. Finishing up the third lap of the race with time 1 minute 11.255. I was so ready to say 12. Perfect driving for me over here. Oh my god, these guys suck so much. These guys actually know how to drive. So awful. I'm gonna dislike this video just because of that. Maybe I am awful. I'm playing this for fun. If there are like online lobbies for this, which there used to be such a thing where you could play, I think the arcade mode of GD1 online, when you had like a server and that server basically had a client. You download that client, you could chat with people just only by typing, sadly. It's like this huge client which allow you to like play PlayStation 1 games online. I don't remember its name. It was not Hamachi though, I can guarantee that much. It was like this huge project thing. But at this point, it was so many years ago, I don't even remember its name. I used to play. I used to use Hamachi for like playing Minecraft with someone back in the day. All right, we're finishing the final lap of the race with time of 1 minute 12 and 7:82. With Toyota GT1 being at second place, Viper GTSR at third, Ventura landing at fourth, Voxer Calibra at fifth, and Alpha 155 at the sixth place. As per usual, getting a good bonus in a new car. And now to the final race of the Gran Turismo All-Stars, the one that's gonna happen at Laguna Seca. Well, what goes around comes around. Viper GTSR and Laguna Seca. Let's go. And what do we got? Vector and 12 at 5th, Celine SR at 4th, TT at 3rd. On the second place, Lister Storm, and the last place comes to R390. And TT already takes the second place, moving the Lister Storm to the 3rd. As I'm now schmoving in into the 3rd place. And nicely overtaken the first corner of the race, or the first turn. And now my nose itches. Excuse me. I hate that feeling. Alright, now it's only to take it home. Finishing the first lap of the race with time 1 minute 18.0. And finish the second lap at 1 minute 11.559. finishing the third lap of the race of 1 minute 11.375. Finishing the fourth lap with time 1:11.675. Now onto the last lap of the race. And the last lap of this special event. Honestly, after not really playing this game for so many years, like playing this game again, it's like relearning all the things from the beginning, which is great, but also makes me a little bit angry on the inside, because this is the game that I had played for over 10 years. You would think the muscle memory would kick in, but sadly that didn't happen. Anyway, race is finished, with Celine SR wide body being in the second, Nissan R390 in the third, Audi TT at the fourth, on the fifth is listed Storm, and on the last position is Vector M12. Listed Storm being at fifth. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. It's Laguna Seca. The corkscrew have done its thing. The corkscrew have probably already done its magic with the driving AI of this game, and that is it. That's pretty much all there is to it. New car acquired. And with that, we have the entire All-Star Championship done. So, what we're gonna do right now is pretty simple. We are gonna take a look at what kind of rewards we have managed to obtain. So, starting from the very top is Mainz Lancer Evolution 5, which is probably the strongest Lancer you can get from the reward, but also is the only Lancer that cannot participate in the rally events. It's actually a pretty fun car to drive, all things considered. If you ever manage to get yourself a arcade disc, or if you already own one, take this car on the Motorsports Land. It's fun. It's really fun. Next car on the list is Mainz R32 Skyline GDR with 618 brake horsepower and 1540 kilograms of weight. This is definitely a very nice car. This is the car that you can only want from the All-Stars second race. As a third reward, we've managed to obtain the TVR Speed 12, a car that if you try to drive by default, not only you're gonna drift all the time because the suspension requires very heavy tweaking, also pretty much you're gonna get one of the fastest and one of the most angriest sounding cars in the game. Also, the third race of the All-Stars grants you 500,000 money if you sell this car. It is insane how much money you can get in this game. For winning the 4th race, we got Tomicaria ZZ2, which is also probably one of the strongest MR cars, one of the stronger cars in MR cars in the game, with 588 brake horsepower and 1020 kilograms of weight. It's a shame that I managed to get this car in black because this car looks murderously good in red. But yeah, it's a very good car. If you somehow manage to win the All-Stars but still not having the 500 brake horsepower car, well, there it is. There's your answer. I believe with this car you can even enter the last MR race. And on the last and not least is the R390 GT1 road car. See, you cannot buy this car, technically, not this peculiar car. You can only get it by winning the last race in the Laguna Seca. But if I could recommend something, if you want to have a real fun car that is stupidly fast and very good at taking corners, take this car, take it to this customizable shop, buy as many parts as possible, increase the maximum power output of this car to above 800 brake horsepower, and just take on the road and just enjoy it. Trust me, you're not gonna regret it. It is a very good car when you manage to modify it. Okay, so that being said, we have managed to beat the entire All-Stars event, Championship Cup, as call it however you want. And how could I summarize? Well, Viper definitely required a little bit of adjustment as we were going through that event. I'm not gonna deny that, but I think we have managed to find at least a reasonable setting for this car, all things considered. And yeah, on the next, what this playthrough is gonna bring next? Well, there's only one way to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be the end of this episode. People of Twitch, we're still gonna continue on with the stream, but people of YouTube, this is the end of the episode. If you have enjoyed, consider subscribing. Look at the bell, stop it, like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Links for all my socials and all the information that you guys need are gonna be down below in the description or in the pinned comment. And also music that is currently playing in the background has been made by Carl Casey at his official webpage whitebataudio.com and his YouTube channel Whitebat Studio. Consider taking a look over there as well. Thank you guys very much once again. I'll see you guys on the next one.